So, still have no name.
No, we don't.
But this is the podcast with Gil and Paul.
We've got some name ideas. We could do an episode about name ideas here.
Yeah. But the thing is, we can't post this until we have a name because it has to go under something.
You can't change. I have no idea how podcasts.
I have no idea.
Do you think you could change it after the fact?
Maybe you can. I guess the listeners will know.
Do they? I listen to a lot of podcasts. You listen to a lot of podcasts, and we have no idea.
I guess the first thing on the agenda should be follow-up. That seems to make the most sense. All I had for follow-up was last time we talked a lot about Reddit and the Reddit redesign, and I complained a little bit about the sidebar and not having multi-Reddits.
Mm-hmm.
They've since added multi-Reddits. And they've also allowed you to expand and collapse the sidebar.
Oh.
So I guess it doesn't make a lot of sense unless you have seen the redesign, but I was talking a little bit about the moderation section was taking up so much room. It was blocking all of my subreddits.
Do you think that is there because you have one thing that you moderate, or would it show up if you didn't have any moderation channels?
I don't know. It wouldn't make sense to have the heading and nothing under it. So I would hope they would just hide the whole thing if you're not moderating.
Maybe they overlook that because most people don't, and now they finally got on top of it or something.
Yeah. But I'm happy because now I can look at multi-Reddits. It's still missing features, I can't edit the multi-Reddits, add or remove them, remove subreddits from them.
Really?
It's obviously still in beta, but I was trying to reorganize them all, and I had to do it on my phone.
Well, this is the crux of this redesign here, is that you are in the redesign world, right? If I go look at your profile, you have a redesigned Reddit, for me looking at your profile.
Yeah.
Can you even get to a place where you can edit your multi-Reddits?
I don't think so. I think I remember seeing a button to exit the beta, but I'm afraid to click it in case there's not a way to get back in.
So he wanted out, he's gone forever.
Yeah, so I don't see a toggle, just at any time to flip between them. So I've just been doing it from Apollo.
It's really odd. Oh yeah, I guess you could do that.
Yeah.
But your account is flagged as in beta.
Yeah.
But then you can use third-party stuff. I imagine if you used Reddit's app, that it would probably behave not
the old
oddly.
Version. Yeah. Another thing is, which I talked to somebody in the redesign thing, I guess one of the people that work at Reddit, about the comment tools. So I just realized that. So when you comment, do you just type in Markdown or do you use the things?
Well, there aren't things by default, are there? Right?
Oh, okay.
I don't think so.
In the new one, there are now buttons to put in links and bolds and stuff, this rich text editor. But I still just type in Markdown, and it doesn't convert it. It just types the Markdown out. So I just learned that all of my comments from desktop have all these weird characters around them.
But that was a weird thing with the app because I just typed the Markdown because I've gotten pretty good at knowing what does what. And then just sometimes the Reddit app, and I think it's gotten better, but it just wouldn't show, right? So I'd post on a web, through the website, and then on the app it would just look like just garbage because it didn't show up like it was supposed to. A lot of times I'll use a line, the full line across the comment thing, and it cleans it up and it looks so nice. And then on the app it just looked stupid because it doesn't show up as the line sometimes.
Yeah. So it's still pretty buggy, but overall the redesign's good. That's just the first update I've seen since I've started using it, so I wanted to mention those things. I've been getting a lot more pop-ups for giving feedback too, which is good because I can now say those things. But,
well, how exclusive is this beta?
I don't know why I got invited to it. Maybe because I was a moderator on something. Or maybe because I've been using it for a while. But how long have you've been using Reddit for a few years, I'm sure. So I don't know.
A few years now. There was a big, I made an account to ask one thing and abandoned it. And then I got back into it like within a year ago or something.
Yeah, so it's either random or because I'm moderating pages or whatever. But even that doesn't make a lot of sense because all the pages that I'm moderating are just like ideas that I had, so I created it, but there's like no activity on any of them. So I don't know what that's really about, but I don't know. I like it though.
But you're not like amongst 10, like not 10. I mean, I'm sure there's more than 10 people, but like it's a decent chunk of the
I think it's a decent chunk. Actually, I can probably check the
just the sub that's for it.
Yeah, and see how many people are in the subreddit, the redesign subreddit.
No matter how many it is, it's still going to be like, unless are there like 1 million people in there? Because that would still
4.4 thousand. So at least that many.
4,400 is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not a lot of people though.
Yeah, not for people on Reddit.
Right? There's a lot of people that like. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Huh.
Looks nice though. And we talked about it a little bit about like restricting like the styles of subreddits, which always annoy me. And I was playing around with it a little bit, and there's like a whole new thing for styling your subreddit that like is constrained within some of those rules so that it actually looks nice, which is good.
No, I haven't tried to style a subreddit before, but like is this a CSS thing, or is that no longer possible? Or
I think the CSS is still possible. Actually, I'm looking at it now. So there's a CSS button, but it's disabled. But before it was all CSS, like you would upload your assets, like images and stuff. You could reference those in your CSS. But now there's just like if you've ever edited like a WordPress theme or something, where it says like color, menu. You can like click on those and make the changes that they let you make, but within the constraints of how the site's now laid out.
Man, this is just such a like hard decision, I imagine, for the higher ups at Reddit, because it's just like, I don't know, just between the styles, like who could make the decision like, oh, we want this uniform brand thing after how successful it's been kind of with all the variety and everything.
Yeah, it definitely seems tricky. And I'm sure that there are subreddits that are like, that this will kind of ruin because, like, I don't know of any, but I imagine there's a subreddit that's referencing like how ridiculous maybe the CSS is on the page or something like that, like a bad design subreddit or something, which is no longer badly designed. But, so yeah, I think it's a tricky line because people are so vocal on Reddit, especially if you're like messing with, not freedoms, but like, the openness of it or whatever.
Yeah, it would be so hard to justify some of those changes.
Yeah, it is an overall better experience though. So.
Yeah. I think maybe I was just missing the button, and I don't remember if I said on the last podcast, but like when I joined, they didn't have image upload built in.
Oh yeah.
You had to go post it somewhere else, and like that is an easy improvement that like I hope nobody fought.
Yeah. That's fairly new.
I'm shocked by that. Like they don't have an upload button on this website.
Yeah.
But then these changes are like just over the top, kind of change completely how the site works in a lot of ways.
Well, like Imager was created for Reddit because there was no upload button. Somebody was just like, I'm just gonna take this upon myself to like fix this for everybody. And you can upload your GIFs here.
The other thing that was odd for me was like I don't think there was a cross post button, and I asked somewhere like I either posted my own thread or asked in something, what is this cross post thing and how does it work? And they were just like, oh yeah, write cross post at the beginning of the post. I was like, oh, this isn't like.
There is a button for it now, but even that, I haven't actually seen that. That might be in redesign.
Yeah, I don't really understand that.
It's like only for certain subreddits, and it doesn't do. I think it like links back to the original post or something.
Well, I know like if I have had a post and then somebody links it somewhere else, at least a bot will comment on my original post and say this has been linked somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember if I got like a dedicated notification. But it's coming together, I guess. And there's definitely like that other discussion tab at the top of Reddit, you know? You ever click that?
I've seen it.
And I don't know how that works. Maybe it's just looking for like identical versions of the same like picture or something. But like if you click it and there's some picture, then it'll say like, here's the other subreddits where this picture is.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I had on Reddit. You had something on Telegram and Signal?
Yes. So we were discussing how Telegram is, you know, kind of like a more secure. They advertise as being kind of secure, but then Signal is the one that I've found that most people that are really serious about security use.
Oh, okay.
And then a few days after we made that podcast discussing it, both Telegram and Signal were down at the same time.
Did we talk about Signal last time?
I think we mentioned it. I think I said that like the hardcore like people that have their like have public keys and all that kind of like, you know, real security advocates and real like Bitcoin developer type people tend to use Signal. I've found.
So what exactly does that is? Not to derail the going down part, but like what are they kind of advertising as? Like obviously like end-to-end encryption, but like what makes Signal so secure?
I don't know because I didn't look into it too much. I did just when I was looking into them going down, I read posts about how like I think the idea here is like Telegram to some capacity is not completely secure.
Okay.
And then Signal maybe fixes that a little bit, but also I'm not sure how much it fixes it. Both platforms, though, I don't think we mentioned before, they will use your phone number, you know? So if I get someone's phone number and I message them on Signal and they have Signal, then they get that message rather than it's being like a username or whatever.
Okay.
So they're very similar. You know, somebody got the idea from the other person. But it's interesting that they compete and that they also both went down at the same time. And I don't know what the hell that means. Like, open for speculation, but it's not great. I don't know if they're just hosted in the same way or something. But
yeah, I wonder if they're owned by the same. They can be. So Signal's directly competing with Telegram.
I think so. Yeah.
So I guess it wouldn't be owned by the same company.
They're very similar designed. You know, like even just the design and layout and stuff is very similar, and the phone-based thing and the encryption thing, and they're both very similar.
Was there any statement on why? Was it like an attack or just?
I don't know. I didn't follow up on that and see. Maybe next episode we'll have some follow up on why those two things happened. Somebody in the comments of somewhere said like, "Oh, it's so the FBI can install a backdoor," which like is maybe true. I don't know, but that's odd that both of them at the same time, especially considering like I've heard several people tell me like, "Oh, Signal is the secure one," and like, is Telegram really secure? Just to see them both, fall on their face at the same moment was entertaining, at least. Where were you when
both Signal and Telegram went down?
No, where were you when you remember like a few months ago, like the Amazon cloud service
when AWS went down and like half the internet didn't work. Yeah, I at that same time I was trying to get people on Basecamp at work, so I was trying to like convince the like people at work that aren't the biggest technology, like the kind of the people that have been there for a while. Like, oh yeah, this is a thing that we should use. And the whole first day, it's like not loading, and they're like, I'm never using this thing. Like,
I've had great experiences in things not working when they should, because there was one time when Bitbucket stopped working, and I had assignments that were like due through Bitbucket, and that was pretty great. And then also when the thing with AWS happened, I had an assignment like due at my afternoon class that I then didn't have to because the thing that served the slides or whatever was down.
What kind of stuff did you build in Bitbucket? We switched to Bitbucket at work a little bit ago, and I've been using it for like a year and a half. I just use it because of the unlimited private repos, but it's really nice.
Yeah, I liked it. I used it because that's what they told us to use.
Oh, okay.
Like, there's just some web pages and things, but yeah, I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
And the things are like still there, which is nice. I don't know if other things, probably not. They don't clear you out after some amount of time or something, but
No, I think the only catch with GitHub is that it's I mean, you can pay and get private repos, but it's all public, or I don't know exactly. I'm not really a developer. I just got to dabble. But
mm-hmm.
do you want to get into home screens?
Yeah, let's get into home screens.
So I don't know. We talked about this on another podcast that we were on together. So as we mentioned a few times, there's a
episode 0.
Yes. There's a podcast called Hello Internet, and then they called their listeners Tims. The community started a podcast called Two Tims Talking, and that's actually how Paul and I met, was randomly being chosen for that podcast, which is kind of interesting in and of itself. I think we've talked more on mic than off mic at this point, but
that's true. I mean, it's like we're talking and then there's a microphone. This is just catching up, but also it's being recorded.
Yeah. So the first time, so we happened to be in the same city, and we met at a coffee shop, and even the conversation there was like, "Oh, we should be recording this."
Yeah.
Which is why we're doing this podcast, I think. But yeah, we talked about home screens on that. Has yours changed a lot, you said?
A good amount, yeah.
I kind of forget what mine looked like. It's changed a little bit, but not a whole lot. I've switched browsers.
Oh.
I've switched Reddit apps and Twitter apps.
Ooh. Wait, but you didn't have stock Twitter or Reddit before, though, either, did you?
Maybe I didn't at that time. I don't know. I thought these were fairly new, but maybe they're not. I was using stock Reddit for a while, but maybe that was like right when I switched to Apollo. But I think I was using stock Tweetbot or stock Twitter. I'm still kind of annoyed with Tweetbot because it doesn't have all the features like polls and stuff.
Tell me what it does have. I don't understand. Like, the regular app works pretty well.
I think the biggest issue for me with the regular app, at least when I was using it, was whenever I would open the app, like it wasn't, like the timeline wasn't where I wanted the timeline to be. I think you can also, actually, I'm not really entirely sure. I always switch back to the stock one and then realize why I switched, and then switch back away from it, and then I completely forget.
Does it, so like the big complaint with Twitter is that you don't get a linear timeline. Is that what this solves? Does it give the tweets to you actually?
I'm pretty sure that it goes in order by timeline. So I think that might be why I switched. If somebody's listening and I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I'm pretty sure this is like linear. But also in the other app, in the stock app, like I feel like it would always scroll me all the way to the top, but I wanted to stay where I saw last and then start from there. I don't know. There were a few weird things. I wish I remembered more, or at least did a little bit of research before we talked about this. But I am using Tweetbot now.
I've been pretty happy with the default Twitter app. It has a dark mode. It lets you switch accounts relatively painlessly, or at least it used to. I don't remember if it still does it as well as it would have, or as it used to. There was one thing I remember that really frustrated me. Two things, actually. So sometimes I have notifications on, right? Mm-hmm. And this is not really exactly the app's fault, but it is such a frustrating experience that I will go look at a notification, and I'll be like, all right, this is at least of interest enough to look at it. Mm-hmm. So I swipe it, and it takes me to the app, and then the tweet has been deleted. And then because I swiped the notification, the notification has been deleted.
Oh, yeah.
And so as a result, I just end up screaming because then I have, under my own actions, deleted the notification that had the record of that tweet. And then also the tweet is gone.
Does that happen often?
Well, sometimes, when I followed Trump, he would have a lot of spelling error things. And I haven't been really even doing the notifications as much, but
Yeah. I try to keep notifications for the most part off of my phone for everything except messages, really.
yeah.
Should we go over, I guess, layouts? So I guess I'll go first since I'm already talking, but my top row is all folders. The first one is like just more general, system apps.
It's a really popular choice right now, these folders at the top.
The way I have it with,
Especially the way you have it.
Yeah, I have bullets as the names, and I have just one icon showing on the first page of all four apps, or all four folders, and I have 4 folders along the tops, and then I have 3 rows of icons under that. I've been doing that for a while. I did copy the one folder thing from Gray.
Yeah.
Just because I don't like it looks too crowded when there's 9 there. I wish that they would redesign the way that the folders look. But in the meantime, I've just cleared it out to that. I would have them completely empty.
Well, so all right, I have questions.
Yeah.
If you go into these folders, there is another page in each of them, right? Or there's multiple pages, or how deep do these go?
I think the longest one is probably this one. So this one's 6 pages.
So you just load them up.
Yeah, but I use Spotlight to open everything. So the things that I use the most are on the home screen. I only have 1 page too, but the things I use the most are on the home screen, and then I Spotlight search for everything else.
And so do you? Well, so do you rotate in? Like these are categories. These 4 folders at the top. Are they loosely like actual categories, or are you just dumping apps wherever?
No, so these are categorized, and kind of the app that's showing. So the one app on the first page of each folder is like somewhat representative of what's inside.
And do you swap in? Like, is there ever 2 icons in the folder?
No, there's only ever 1 icon. If I'm like testing an app, that'll be on my second page. So sometimes I do have a second page if I'm like trying something new, like a second page to this.
That's what I have right now, yeah.
And then I'll move that to the appropriate place once I've decided whether or not I want to keep it.
Okay.
So the first one's more like general stuff, like the phone, authenticator, stuff like that. I use system settings quite a bit, so that's actually outside of the folder. The second one is more like productivity and like location stuff. So I have To Do is my app, my single app on the first page. But then inside of there are like things that are like outside of the house sort of thing.
What's that big 1 page over? What's the big yellow thing?
Oh, this is launches. So this is like SpaceX, NASA launches.
Cool.
It's a really cool app, but I don't know why I can't find one that shows past launches. So, but yeah, this is cool just for seeing when the next launches are coming up. So it looks like there's a Falcon 9 launch March 29th is like the next SpaceX one.
What is why do you want to see the past launches? Just
I don't know. Sometimes I'm just curious to see, because I'm not keeping up with this every day. This is more just every once in a while I'll check in. So I'd like to see like, what was going on maybe last week. What was like, maybe I heard about a launch and I want to go look at what the mission was and stuff. I can't do that in any of these because it only shows future ones. So I've got to really stay on top of it, I guess.
And then back in that folder, there was one before that. There's like the D thing there on the second page. It's the second
so that's Distiller. That is, I'm a big fan of whiskey. So you can like, if you've ever used Untapped, have you used that?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, so Untapped is like for beer. Distiller is just a similar thing, but for whiskey. So when I try like a new scotch or a new bourbon, I'll find it in here. I'll put my notes. I'll rate it, stuff like that. Also, it's also good for like seeing what I want to try out. So you can see other people's notes. You can see like average professional rating and average like regular person rating. It's a really cool app, and it's semi-actively developed. So yeah, I like that a lot.
All right, cool.
The third folder up here is like banking and like grown-up stuff. So I have like LifeLock, Geico. There's some health stuff in there, and like I said, all of my banking stuff.
Like a boring folder.
Yeah. And then the last folder is more like entertainment. So I have Pokemon Go. I have like all of my social stuff.
Mm-hmm. What was the second one down? What's that?
This one?
Yeah.
This is Buddhify. That's like a meditation app.
Oh, okay.
So like a guided meditation sort of thing, but it's really cool because it's like based on scenario. So they just did this update. So now every time I open it, it goes through this loading screen, which is annoying. But like it's categorized by like, are you going to sleep? Are you having a hard time sleeping? Are you like walking? Are you in the city? Are you in a park? Like I've never been like a big meditator.
Yeah.
But sometimes if you're like just stressed out, listening to like it even like helps me fall asleep and stuff. So it's a really cool for somebody like me that's not like a great meditate kind of person, but it's still helpful. So those are the folders. Those are more of the least important things.
Now the dots.
Oh yeah.
Is that so you know that you can have that little question mark thing there?
Yeah, so I could do, like you said, like the broken character that will show up as no name on the folder, but when you open it, there's like a box with a question mark. And it drives me crazy knowing that if I open that, there's a broken question mark thing.
I don't love that either. Yeah.
So I've put bullets under each one.
Uh-huh.
I think it just looks cleaner. I don't like having the names. I think that looks ugly. So yeah, I opted for the bullets.
See, there's you changed the color on the overcast icon, right?
Yeah, so I'm using dark mode for overcast and also the dark icon. And I kind of have the colors, so I'll go over my apps. So I've got Carrot, Evernote, Maps, Fantastical. This is like a grocery list, CoinStats, Brave, Tweetbot, Apollo, Music, and Overcast. And then in my dock, I have my email app, Spark. I forget what this is called actually.
It's Do.
It's just Do. Yeah, I have Do and then Messages.
I'm interested in that dock right now.
Okay. What about the dock?
Well, Messages make sense to me. Do I have paid for? I have downloaded about 17 times, and I have never found out how to use it like in a way that is useful.
So this is like my most used app, probably even more. So ask my wife. She gets annoyed by literally everything goes into Do.
So you have To Do.
So I have To Do is for like project stuff.
All right.
So if I'm working on like, I'm actually not in the middle of like a large project right now, but probably once we start getting in like putting these episodes up, I'll probably have lists in there for like checklists for uploading and stuff like that. So if I'm working on like a project, that goes in To Do. I have Evernote, so that's more like that's more of just like a backup of my brain basically. Anything that I don't want to forget long term goes into Evernote, so that's like long term storage. Things like documents, or like I have like my like shirt size, and I have like everything documented.
Your shirt size?
Yeah. So if I'm like shopping, it's like what size like pants do I wear? Oh, so everything about me is in Evernote. But then Do is just like my day-to-day task manager. Like I have in here, I have like a recurring task every Sunday to take out the garbage. I have like a task in there to like call my mom, or like for every like 2 months or something.
I really want to Do to make sense, but I can't. It has to have a due date, right? Which is in line with the name of the app. But like some things I don't have a due date on, and it's kind of really frustrating to.
Yeah. So I kind of just do like ideally when I would want to get it done. So let's see if I can find something in here. Like I literally have to do like a thing in here to make Skyline. So I have everything in my Do app.
Skyline?
Skyline chili.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean make Skyline?
Like buy a can of Skyline chili and make like the 3-way. Which is very, I know, weird, but like I said, everything is in here. I have a recurring task every day at 10 o'clock to read. Like, so everything that I want to do is in here.
Like what do you think you would do if you didn't have that reminder?
I would never read.
Is this like a habit building thing? Like
yeah. So I use it like so I don't forget to go do something, but I also use it to like enforce habits. So like if I want to, like I said, if I want to start reading more, I create a recurring task for every day to read. So I have to like actively not read.
Mm-hmm.
I have to tell myself every day, like, no, I've like been reminded. I'm still not going to do it.
Okay. See, the other part of do is timers.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, great, I'll use the timers. There's not an interval timer or whatever those are called, where it hits 0. And I either want one that will go up when it hits 0, like a NASA clock, T minus, or one that will hit 0 and then go into another timer of some form.
Yeah.
And I don't think it does either of those things.
I don't actually use the timers at all. I just use it for this. And I really like the input method for even putting in these tasks.
Oh, yeah. I did enjoy that.
Yeah. So what it is like you can have all of these preset times for throughout the day. And then under that are like different intervals for plus or minus 10 minutes, 1 hour, 3 hours, or 1 day. So like if I decided like I have in here to like apply to jobs. To make sure I'm at least doing that every few days. So I'll do it and I just hit like plus the 2-day thing and I'll move it to 2 days. Or if there's like a work on a side project thing and I'm like busy, I'll just hit plus 1 day.
So I mean, it's like, well, you still have to type, which is kind of like the system that they have for entering the due date is really nice because it's like tap, tap, tap and you're done. Like in the worst case, you have to tap on 4 times on relatively large buttons and it's like not a problem.
Yeah.
The like typing the text is still kind of a thing where you have to like be very precise about the letters you hit and everything. So it probably, it throws it off that way, I guess. But
what do you mean precise about the letters?
Well, I just mean like, this is such a great interface where if you didn't need to type words for what this reminder was, it would just be like tap, tap, tap and you're done. But the keyboard like kind of holds it back as a more precise thing that you got to hit the right characters and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. The last thing I like too is that if you don't immediately handle, like either reschedule or do the thing, it'll like reminds you every 5 minutes or every 30 minutes or whatever you set, which I like.
See, I saw that, and then there's something with iOS 10 or 11 or what are we on?
11.
There's something there where like now timers are handled differently or something, right? I don't know.
In the native one?
Just in the phone itself. And so like I think in Do there's some setting that's like keep reminding me up to 10 times because it can't just do indefinitely anymore or something like that.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what my dock is like I said.
Well, then the email client is also interesting to me.
Oh, okay.
Just because, I don't know, I haven't even heard of this one, I don't think. Spark?
Yeah, so I used to use Airmail, which is like has all like tons and tons of features. Spark doesn't have that many features, but it's like it reminds me of Airmail, and I guess visually and in a few ways. But Airmail was also cool because you could do like read receipts, like you could see if somebody's read your email. You could like mark things to be sent later. This doesn't do that, but it does do like the send later and stuff like that. So it's just got like a few features that I like. It's really clean and it's really easy to like send emails. Obviously, I've been using this for like a year now, but before that I've tried literally every other email client. And I just like how like I use the snooze all the time. I use the pins. I organize everything in like different folders. So I have like my folders, like right now I'm interviewing and looking for apartments. So I have like folders for all of my emails for apartments. I have like one for receipts, stuff like that.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of specifics on Spark. I just know that I like it.
Okay.
I have such an awful memory, hence all of the reminders and notes apps that I use. But like I do lots of research into like all these things. I'll have all these different email things set up, and then I choose the one that I chose. Same thing with like Twitter, and then I completely forget why. I've also switched to Brave, so that's kind of a new thing, which I'm like 75% happy with.
This is the browser.
Yeah, so I'm using Brave browser on my desktop, which I'm very happy with. The mobile app is like somewhat in beta, I guess. It's not full featured yet, so it doesn't like sync up with the desktop app. It doesn't have like the Bat wallet implemented, which I don't know if we talked about that yet.
I think we did, but I don't remember what makes Brave. What's good about it, like without the wallet extension? Like what's its thing?
Without that, it's good because it just does a great job at blocking scripts and ads and stuff. So it's a lot faster.
Okay.
So it kind of like tries to like pride itself on that. So like today I've got 250 blocked trackers, 58 blocked ads. It upgrades like asset references to HTTPS, and it calculates somehow, which is probably not accurate, but it saved me 15 seconds. But basically, it cuts all of the like extra junk and trackers that websites put on their site so that they can advertise to you, and kind of strips all that away. So I like it for that because it is noticeably faster on some sites if you're going to like a Forbes or something that's just loaded up with ads.
So the email app, does that have a computer client companion or?
Yes, it does. So
okay.
Yeah, like one of the things when I'm looking for these apps is like, is it actively being developed and does it already have the client across all things? Because there are so many that are like, it's coming, and then you wait like 3 years and it never came. So yeah, this does have like a desktop one, which I like a lot too. Yeah, and then like obviously like things like the gestures are all like a must for me, like swiping different ways, because I make sure I archive or snooze or do all of my things. I guess I like it because it has like the core features that I like without being like overly complicated and bogged down with like features that I won't use.
Well, I have kind of an answer to that one. Not an answer, but it's like an alternative that I'm interested to hear what you think. But
yeah,
I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to talk about on your phone?
Carrot. I'm using Carrot as my new. So this will be my last thing, but Carrot Weather I'm using. I was using Dark Sky purely because of their Apple Watch app. So what I want for the Apple Watch app is to show me in one sort of, what do they call it, complication, to show me whether or not it's going to rain or if it's raining soon. Like say like, oh, it's going to rain in 10 minutes, what the current weather is, and when sunset or sunrise is. So I like that because it's like, you know, I want to take my dog on a walk or I want to go somewhere. I just like knowing when the sun's going to set. But Dark Sky was the only one that allowed all of that in one thing on the Apple Watch. But Carrot a few months ago came out with an update to where you can like make your basically build your own component or complication for your watch to be really whatever you want. So I was able to build that.
Yeah, I just found Dark Sky.
Yeah,
and it looks really cool to me. Like I don't remember why, but I liked it more than I liked Carrot. However, it's paid, and I was like, it's a weather app, so I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
And it, like, if anything, I might pay for that. But like Carrot, it looks nice, but it is a weather app, right? I guess for the complication, it's worth it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I keep looking at it because people keep saying it's amazing looking, and I'm like, yeah.
I don't really mind I actually prefer how Dark Sky looks. But I don't, there are just some things that really annoy me about Dark Sky. I don't think it's really actively developed either. But I don't like the sliding to the, like the map thing. I don't know, something about that really annoys me. But with this, I don't really like the whole personality thing all that much.
I was going to ask if you use that. Is it just off?
It's on. I've never really bothered to do it. I only really use the watch, but I guess I do have it on my home screen, but so I'll open it every once in a while if like my watch is off. But yeah, I guess I moved away from Dark Sky really for that app, and because this is actually it seems actively developed more. I don't know when the last Dark Sky update was. And then CoinStats is I'm like obsessed with checking all the cryptocurrency prices constantly, so that's on my home screen.
People in I don't know how it would compare, but there is one called CoinDex that like people that I have made because they're up at Purdue.
Yeah, I think I looked that up last time.
Yeah, or maybe I talked about it last time too.
Yeah, I think I didn't use that because I used the widget for this, so I can't find a widget that has what I want in it. For some reason, I don't know. They don't all build that widget in.
I see.
Yeah, let's take. And there'll be screenshots for all this in the show notes.
Yeah. Are we over to me here?
We're over to you now.
All right. So overall, I have again 4 folders at the top, which is the standard, I guess, anymore.
Yeah.
So the philosophy here is like an overarching kind of minimalism. So I have just black background, and then in contrast to that, when the phone is unlocked, well, like black lock screen, and then in contrast, when the phone is unlocked, white, just pure white screen.
I really like the pure white.
I like it because, so here's the thing. I wanted really badly to get rid of the dock on the bottom. And somebody did some weird hack thing. Like this image that is set as the wallpaper is that like it has a bunch of, if you look at just the image, it has like black squares in it and it's all kind of weird formatted. And somehow it breaks things so that the dock is not at the bottom.
That's pretty cool.
And I love it. And
so is that line part of that too?
Well, the line I added after the fact because I wanted to have, like, I didn't want anything under my folders. And I did want the folders on top, and I didn't want that awkward gap. So I added a little line all by myself, just with like Photoshop or something. And I like ideally this background would be black as well, and it would definitely be black if I had like an iPhone X because or 10. Those are was it OLED?
Yeah, OLED.
And so then you use a lot less energy basically. If you have that kind of screen. But my screen doesn't matter, and as I understand it, all of the energy, like regardless of what colors are showing on the screen, is like the same amount of usage.
Yeah, it's just evenly lit. Constantly.
So I'm happy with my white. And the other thing that's really cool with the white, though, that you wouldn't get with the black is that a lot of the, so you get rid of all of the things around the folders altogether. There's no little outline around the folder. If there's an app that just has white around it, it looks like it's kind of seamlessly floating.
I was going to say, I like the apps that you've chosen for here because it looks like there's no square. It's just like the calendar, Airtable.
Well, see,
looks cool.
What killed me, and I probably spent like hours on, I used to have the apps so that the calendar was down in the dock, and then it just looks like I love that look.
Yeah.
But like I hate, again, this text that comes up on these apps up at the front here.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you have like Safari down here, it looks really good because then there isn't any labels and it's just like these free floating things at the bottom dock. But I don't know. For some reason, I decided that I just wanted these bottom things because Spotify and Google Maps are like driving things and I kind of wanted those together. And it just, there's a whole mess of deciding. But I ended up kind of configuring things the way that they are. And it looks all right with these things that don't have backgrounds up at the top. I just wish they didn't have the names. But so minimalism, which means that everything is on one screen. Like all of my apps are visible on one screen. I delete apps that are not of extreme use to me.
Yeah.
So like Goodreads, which is just a thing with books and stuff. Like that didn't make the cut because I can use that online. I use it very infrequently. Things like Wolfram Alpha, which is kind of like a calculator app. It didn't make the cut. I was like, it doesn't really need to be here, and I'll download it if I do need it at some point. So what we have then is just basically the essential apps, and then the things that I use less or don't want on the home screen are kind of crammed into just the 4 folders at the top, and in each folder there are 9 things. So the way that this works is that the first folder is mostly like system things, and then there are a few just kind of like leftover things that are also sort of like they're similar to the system tools. So I have, well, I guess the only one that's not default is Simple Note in here, but that kind of is related to my reminders, and it's just sort of part of like productivity, which goes with like the clock and the reminders in there. So that's mostly system stuff. Next folder is just social media stuff. What's interesting is here is, so Snapchat is definitely staying here. I don't really use it a lot, but it does have some interesting features and cannot be used online, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
And then kind of the thing that is interesting is I have a postage stamp of 4 apps here. And at the top, I have Slack and Castro. And these are, so Castro is a podcast app. Slack is like communication. But the thing is that I check these somewhat regularly throughout the day. And then on the bottom of this is I have Astro, which is a mail app, and YouTube, which is YouTube.
So Astro is email?
Yeah, email app. And these ones I really don't like to check except like right at the morning and right at night or something. So I have kind of categorization that way. And then if you go up and down, Slack and Astro are like kind of business type things. And then Castro and YouTube are kind of like fun for fun. So I'll go into Astro because it's interesting, but let's finish up the folders. Third folder is things that are like on the chopping block for being deleted. Because so I used to have like just delete a random app when I wanted to add a new app, or I would have less apps. But the way that I have it now is like, you know, a lot of these apps I don't really use, but I just am using them basically to fill in the empty spots here until I have an app that is of more value to replace those apps with. Like I have the Walmart app. Do I need the Walmart app on here? No, I could have deleted that, but it's filling in the space for these other apps right now. And this way I have like, you know, I don't have to question, like, do I really need the YouTube app on here? Like, it doesn't matter because, you know, I need a certain amount of apps to fill up the space.
Gotcha.
So it makes it a lot nicer than when I was just trying to make it a flat cutoff of, like, what is essential here. And like I said, I can just sub in a new app as needed. But the things that end up in this folder are, there's a lot of backup stuff in here. Google Drive.
What's Fleet?
Fleet is the Postmates app, but it's like the people that deliver with Postmates app because I'm signed up for that from a while ago, and I think they have it in Louisville. Yeah. So I might, you know, just do a Postmates delivery every now and then because it's actually pretty like fun. They're fun to do.
Yeah, I've done like Lyft driving
a few
times. Yeah, not too often, but like when like there's a big thing in town and they're paying like 300% off or whatever. I'll do that. I at one point was registered with Lyft. I think I'm not anymore because like the vehicle, you know, you have to submit the new registration or whatever to them. Yeah. But I never actually, I don't think, drove with Lyft. I just was registered for Lyft. And then I didn't really live somewhere that had it. And then so this last folder, though, is things that I wish weren't on the phone, but I can't delete because they need to be there for some reason. The calculator app even like perfectly matches that.
That was very intentional. I wanted to, like, if it's up at the top of this, it doesn't blend in perfectly.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah, so I made sure it ended up at the bottom. I don't know why it doesn't blend in perfectly at the top, but it wouldn't. And there's an outline. And down here at the bottom, it's got like a seamless blend in. So I made sure of that. But yeah, I use the calculator through the little
that's what I use too.
Widget thing that comes up. So I don't need that app. I don't need Wallet because that's just like double click. Health. Some of these I don't think you can delete. Yeah, like Find My iPhone. Yeah. And camera I use the widget thing too. So I have SpaceX Now, which is just SpaceX launches, and that's there because I use the widget over on the screen on the left. Google is taking care of my keyboard because it has like a keyboard with the app, and then ad blocker is like blocking ads on Safari.
So the keyboard, I've tried to use the Google keyboard and I like it, but like if your phone's locked and you're like replying, like quick replying, I was having issues with like it wasn't doing autocorrect because it was going back to the native keyboard.
Yes. Yeah.
So I was having issues with that. Also, sometimes it would just like take a while to show up. Do you have those issues with the?
Infrequently, Google Keyboard will fail, or if there is a password type in screen.
Mm.
I don't know if what you get on the other, like if you just keep the stock keyboard, but sometimes Google Keyboard will fail and I'm left with a stock keyboard that has no autocorrect, no anything.
Yeah.
Like what you click is what's going to show up on the screen. And that's annoying, but it's pretty infrequent. And if I just like quit the app when that happens, it fixes itself. For passwords, it's fine because I don't want it to autocorrect for passwords usually.
I really like that you have every app on your phone visible, though.
Yeah. Well, so this is where your thing is. So I just added these ones very recently, and right now they're hanging out on the second screen, but that is not for long.
Tally, what is that?
Well, there's two called Tally, because when I searched for the original one called Tally that I was interested in, another one called Tally I found was also interesting. So first, Tally here is like a credit card management thing, and I don't completely understand it, but if you give it all your credit card information,
I have to start that app.
it keeps track of them, and I guess it like pays all your credit cards for you or something. I don't know. It looks pretty convenient. I haven't played enough with it yet. Tally, the second one, just keeps count of things, and it seems kind of useful. I don't think I have a use for it, but I don't know. It stayed there, I guess.
Have you used Mint for credit card stuff?
No, I keep looking at Mint, and it looks good, but I haven't set that up either.
That's what I use everything in Mint because like you can even put like 401k and savings and like your car, like you can put everything in there, and like budgeting. So I'm a big fan of Mint, but it sounds like it does a similar thing.
Mint too. I mean, it's definitely like on the radars of things. I just haven't like set it up. Then we got Adobe Composition, or I guess it's just called Comp. Do you know what that one is?
No, what is that?
But you should know what that one is. This seems like it would be useful to you. So this one, it's just like, that was my little playing around session. But if I create a new whatever, so it's like an iPad screen resolution, and you can just mark up really easily like text and move it around. And so it's just like kind of layout design. You could put like, and it recognizes that you want a picture and you resize it. So if you just
that's awesome.
want to mock up a website or something.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You're like drawing shapes and then it's recognizing those as icons and turning it into like an actual element.
Yeah, it's just really efficient for like if you want to mock up a website or just an interface of some kind or something. It seems useful. I just downloaded it, so I don't know, but it seems like kind of cool. And then this last one is Lynda, which is just like tutorials on stuff, and like I don't pay for it, but the local library lets you have a free Lynda account if you have a library card there. And I was like, sweet.
So do you do that on your phone then? That seems like a desktop thing.
It is a desktop thing, but I downloaded the app just to see. And I downloaded some courses like locally to the phone. I don't know that I'm ever going to play them. It is definitely more of a desktop thing, but I'm glad there's an app. So those are the new candidates here. But
so your doc, you have things.
I do.
I feel like I've tried that before. What do you like about Things?
It is just a simple, beautiful app. So we'll go down the like productivity suite real quick here. So my equivalent of Evernote is Simple Note here. It has a web app. This is, I think, by the developers of WordPress, and their whole thing is like Simple Notes free forever. So you can log in through any browser, but also there's an app. And it's simple. It's Simple Notes. They named it appropriately.
Can you group or add folders?
You can tag things. That's why I like just the simplicity. You can't like really you can't put a picture in there. You can't there's no proper text formatting of any kind. And honestly, that's just fine. That's just fine with me. I've never really needed. I understand people that would want Evernote and want more complexity with notes. And actually, when I started using Simple Note was when the Apple default Notes app did not let you put in pictures and things, and it was like just as good. So I figured, why not use Simple Note? But I don't know. Big fan of that, and I've used it like faithfully, and it's just really powerful, simple note-taking app that's free forever. Calendar, I just started actually using for like the purposes that a calendar is supposed to be used. So that's people know the calendar. But then on to things. Okay, so things is just great because here's the thing.
On purpose.
Well, so it's Things 3 is the name of the app technically, but it's just so clean looking, and I have it set up so that it pulls from the calendar that I now use. So if I look at upcoming, it's got the calendar stuff for forever going down there. It has some kind of reminder integration thing where you can have your like reminders show up in it. I don't use that really basically at all, but it's just pretty nice because you can go into today and you can just set a to-do. It's just like a clean design, award-winning. It seems like the best to-do app. And I avoided it for so long because it cost $10 and had no like preview thing.
Oh yeah.
But it's fantastic.
I don't know. Maybe I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can do like tasks and subtasks. Oh no, this is weekend and then tasks.
Yeah. Well, so this is the philosophy of things, right? So there are tags, and also you can just search for anything up in here, and that's like stuff I haven't really used all that much yet. But it makes things very findable with the tags and the search. And then past that, you've got inbox, and so like this little plus note thing, drag it over there. No matter where you are, you can add something to the inbox. So you can get things out of your head very quickly into this inbox and then deal with them later, which I use.
Oh, okay.
I more use just as like a notes thing almost, just because it's easier than like going into simple note and like
the inbox. So it's like a note triage where
Yeah.
you can like just put it
Yeah.
in there and then sort it later.
no matter what, even if it's just like a thing I'm thinking about, just like, I want to Google this later, I just come in here and I make an inbox thing about it. So that's just like real rough thing, and you can do stuff with it from there. So if you put in whatever, and then the things that you can do with it are you can assign a tag, you can make like a little bulleted list on top of a task if you want. So there's just like little bonus features. You can add a deadline if you want, which I haven't really used. Where the power is, I think, though, mostly is in this calendar thing. So you can say, I want this done today. Especially useful is you can kind of divide things out into the night, like things that specifically need to get done this evening. And then you can also use this thing called Someday, which is really great. And the philosophy here is just like you can have, so inbox, which is just where anything and all kinds of things goes. Today, which is things that you're supposed to do today. You got your calendar right up at the top. Upcoming is things, in the next couple days, and then it collapses down to months after that. Anytime gives you anything that does not have a time assignment, so like if it's not assigned to the future or assigned to someday, it's in anytime, which is just a useful kind of comprehensive look at everything that doesn't have a due date in the future.
Can you hide or show like those different groups up there? So I wouldn't use anytime just because
I hardly touch anytime.
I would never I imagine I would put things in there, but then since I'm not being reminded about it, I would never look at it again.
You can't put anything in anytime. It's just anytime is a collection of things that do not have a date in the future, right?
Okay.
So I don't touch it. I don't put things there. It's just kind of like a catch-all for things that aren't due like upcoming or someday. It's just things that are in, so there's projects at the bottom, and you could have things in like the inbox, and I think the inbox things will show up in any time.
Yeah.
So it's a little catch-all. I'm glad that it's there, but I hardly touch it. Then Someday is interesting because it gives you a place to put things that are just of super low importance.
Yeah.
Which is just, I don't know when I'm going to get to this, but let's put it in the Someday thing so that it's written down, but it's not cluttering up everything else. And what's extra great is that, so you can even have like things that you will do someday within a project, and it divides it out in the Someday location. So you click that, right? And now it's things that you will do someday in individual projects.
Gotcha.
So it's just really great and intuitive. And then once you get to projects, you can create like an area, and then in a project, you can create like divisions in the project. You can convert a task up to a project. It's just very powerful, but it still maintains like so much simplicity, and it's just a great to do app. The one thing that like it falls down is if you want like a recurring evening task or whatever, like with Do, or it's not great on time. You can make a recurring task for like a day, or a week or whatever, but it doesn't really have the ability to make it recur in the evening and things like that. So,
Okay.
so it keeps kind of simple in that way, but I think it's really powerful, and just that ability to group things by projects, and it's just very intuitive and well designed and things. It's just great.
Yeah, I do like the design a lot. I guess
Yeah.
I still prefer Do because there's like catch-alls to where it's like anytime or someday.
Mhm.
In the past, when I've had that option, like that just gets infinitely long. I never look at it again, and those things never get like I just don't look at it. So I like to always assign a day to something, even if it's like something that's not super important.
Yeah.
And I'll just do it for like a day that I think I'm vaguely free.
I was really afraid of this, and I think mine is getting long, but it really doesn't matter because of how well they do this. So if you have things in your project that are assigned to someday, like you can show them or you can just collapse them, right? And if things are assigned to like some specific date in the future, again, they're not showing in that project unless you hit the show button. And it's just so well thought out, and I think it really does work.
Yeah.
Just fantastically.
Yeah. And also with Do, I think I like it because it's just one level deep. Like everything is just in that one single list.
But I see that.
But I could see how maybe I would replace.
I love looking at the today view, and like there's nothing else but just
that's
the
nice.
calendar and the things that you're doing today.
I think I do like this though. I think it does something. It would have to do something different for me than Do. Like I think it would be an addition to Do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it could.
I think it could
replace To Do.
I think it probably could, except as I understand To Do, I haven't used it. I think you can make a time-based reminder, right?
Yeah, and also
a recurring.
So is there a desktop app for this?
There is. So this costs $10, this mobile app, and then the desktop app costs like $50 or something. And I like that a lot because I don't need the desktop app and I haven't paid for it.
Yeah.
And I hate this subscription model. Like OmniFocus has some subscription model.
Yeah.
And no.
I don't remember how much To Do was, but I want to say that it was. I only have to buy one. I don't really remember, but I do like that there's I do like the desktop app for more like work things.
Mm-hmm.
So that I have my phone or on the desktop. But
what I like also also is really well designed and is very much like things is one called Swipes, I think. Make sure I'm actually correct. Yeah, Swipes.
I haven't used that one.
It's like by the people. I think I don't remember who it's by, but it's just this beautiful design, and you swipe it to one side to add it to like this later list, and you swipe it to the other side to add it to this done list. And there's still tags and things, and it's a little bit, like less designed, and I'm not sure it's going to be supported going forward as much, but it's free.
Oh, okay.
And it is also just really beautiful and simple. And, you can assign this someday thing, and very similar feel, and I really liked it too. So, Swipes. Let's see what we can go through. Castro, very good, simple. This is kind of fitting with this simplicity theme. Castro has just like an inbox kind of feature, and I just would recommend looking at it, but we talked about it in the other podcast some, so that one's good.
What's Airtable?
Airtable, that's a good one to talk about. So Airtable is where I've been doing just data tracking, right? So it's like Excel spreadsheet basically, but just beautiful. So their app here is just really interesting looking. And so I have just this spend category, right? So anytime that I just buy something, I just come in here and I log it just to get like an idea of kind of how much I'm spending and things. And what's great is just like, look at how fluid it is. Like you can classify what kind of thing something is, and you can make it do little calculations here. And it's just got these little easy toggle switches and things. It's just a nice app. And I've just been using it to log things, because what I really wanted was a generic, there's a lot of like calorie trackers or whatever. There's not a lot of like generic log this thing type apps. And I tried really hard, and I ended up looking at a lot of like survey apps like Google Forms or something.
Oh yeah.
But it really didn't work as a system. And then I found Airtable, like somebody told me about Airtable, and I was like, this is almost exactly what I want. The only thing that I would add is I really wish I could have, I think they're working on this, but I really wish I could see like a chart of this data,
Oh yeah.
you know, but like in the spend, I can do a filter that's like, you know, just for today or whatever, meals today or something like that. So it's got a lot of power to it, and it's just very convenient and pretty and easy to use. So I really enjoy that. You can export it as a CSV file and all that good stuff.
So that's different from, so in Tally, the one with your credit cards, that's just paying. You can't see transactions in there.
I haven't really used it much, but I think it's the idea behind Tally is that it will pay your credit card bills for you, basically.
Okay.
And you just make sure that Tally has money, and if Tally has money, it'll pay your credit cards, and then your credit cards, I think, just become like a debit card.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. So that's the idea there. And then the last thing in here that I think is worth note is Astro, which their big thing is, so it's a mail client. Their big thing, man, I don't want to see that. Their big thing is they kind of have these like so you can do receipt tracking, and you can do like remind me if they haven't replied or whatever. But it also, so Insights is like, oh, this person opened it, so you can see every time someone opened the email. I guess there's a calendar in here. I haven't really touched that. But the big thing is like they're trying to use AI. So they've got a little bot in here, and the bot is the one that tells you about the insights. And I have it turned off, but there's like a priority inbox that gives precedent to just emails that it thinks are important, basically. And it's just a clean thing. It does your swipe thing where you can like, you know, get rid of things in different ways. And I didn't mean to do that.
Can you, so with a lot of like the mail clients, some of them are excluded for me because they like do really weird things with like inbox, like with like folders and stuff. Like they'll like auto generate a bunch of folders. Does that do anything to your like Gmail?
It did not, no, seem to do anything with my folders. I'm using Outlook and Gmail in there, and it has played nicely. Like I had existing folders in both of those, and it just took them in.
Okay.
And what's great too is like you even just use the bot to add your email account. So it's like, what is your email address? And then it's like, what is your password? And then it just adds it. One thing that I don't know that they fixed or not is that I don't think Astro works with like some kind of emails. I don't know if it only works for like the major kinds, or if it's like it doesn't work for IMAP, POP3. I don't know the technical stuff with email, but it at least at some point in the past didn't work for some kinds of emails, but it did work for both of mine. And you can like send things later, like make a payment later kind of thing.
I do like the read receipts and like sending later, and I especially like the like remind me if, so something Airmail did great. So I think I got rid of Airmail because I'm pretty sure they went to like a paid model, if I remember correctly, which I liked it a lot, but it was like too expensive. But you could say like, you could send an email and say if they don't respond in like 3 days, remind me about this email.
Yeah.
Which was like super helpful.
That's what you can do.
So that's what this is doing?
Yeah, there's track reply, remind me, and then send at a later date or time or whatever. And it handles it pretty well. I was just sort of frustrated with the default mail app, which was working all right for a while.
Yeah.
And somebody told me about Astro, and I was like, all right. For a while, I thought Astro was a paid service, but I looked at it eventually. And
does it seem to be actively developed?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'll probably give that a shot. If it's not doing anything weird with folders, then I could keep using Spark on desktop and then try this for mobile.
Yeah.
Because I'm not 100% happy with Spark. I just like it because it's reliable. And like I said, doesn't mess up a bunch of stuff, but it's missing like a few features that I wish, like the Airmail had, that I wish that it had.
Yeah, Astro is, I think, pretty good, and that the priority inbox thing I think is like really useful for some people. The thing though is that what I want is for it to rank emails by importance, and what the priority inbox does is it's just a binary like, does it think that this email is important? And if it thinks it's important, it puts it in the one inbox.
Okay.
But rather than like, just chronological, I'd rather it rank what it thinks is the most important email. It doesn't have that feature yet, but
Yeah.
the thing I do with my email though is I have like 2 levels of priority of inbox, and if it gets like really intense, I will make a dedicated folder for something, but it's really got to get to an unmanageable point for that. So, but what I end up doing is just if it's in the inbox and I look at the mail, it's got to either get deleted, archived, which honest to God, I don't know what the difference is. I guess one stays around longer.
Yeah, I don't really know what the difference is. I archive everything. I do like put receipts into a different folder though in case I need to go back and look. And then I also save stuff from like apartments or jobs just in case I can go back and look at
if it looks like it might be useful later, I do the archive thing. But like the one thing that's frustrating is I can't archive from if it's not in the inbox, at least in the default Google. Like, have you ever tried that? Like if you move something to a folder in the Gmail web thing,
oh yeah, you can't archive from the
I can't figure out how to archive something from a different folder, and that's because Gmail does that weird label thing.
I hate that, yeah.
Where it's like not in the folder, it's just labeled as in the folder, but then it's not in the inbox anymore. So like where does it really live? I have no idea. But I think if I don't delete it / archive it right on the spot, then it just goes into if I go into there and it either goes into just temp or urgent.
Oh, okay.
And that's just like temp is like things that are kind of time based, and it's like if it's an event, eventually I can just delete it, but I want it in a folder for reference and stuff. And then urgent is just like things I either expect someone to be getting back to me or
so do you use the snooze? Do you use any sort of snooze feature for your inbox?
It does have that. I have not really done that.
I think I remember Gray talking about not liking the snooze. I'm a big fan of the snooze though because I'll use it kind of like a to-do list. Like if I need to reply to somebody or if there's like an email that requires some sort of action that I don't want to do right away. Rather than keep it in my inbox, I snooze it for like the next morning or whatever. That's
pretty good, but I just try not to let myself not deal with an email. Like it's either deleted or dealt with. That snooze option is tempting, but
yeah, like I think I like to keep it like I think the snooze like groups things together. So instead of like dealing with 100 things scattered throughout the day, if you can wait until the next day, then I'll get them all at 9 a.m. the next morning because I've snoozed them all for 9 a.m. So I think it helps me like group my email work together in that way, so I'm not constantly replying to emails.
Yeah, I like it, but I just haven't ever swiped to it.
Yeah.
I think maybe like one time.
All right, let's go ahead and end it there. Thanks for listening to the Untitled podcast that we will have a name for by the time you listen to this.
We're getting close. Do you think they work on the radio voices? Radio voices?
I don't know. I feel like Gray might have a natural radio voice.
He just talks like that. And then when you hit record, did you hit record?
Yeah.
I try to sound smoother. I don't think it works.